So this is obviously my video on the porcelain fungus, and I'm out foraging again, and I was editing at the same time, and I was editing my porcelain fungus video, and it just occurred to me that there was, one slight element that I wanted to give a little bit of clarity on, because I didn't really hit it directly in the video. So please do stay right to the end for a little bit of a chat about one of the sort of dangerous lookalikes, because it's really, really easy to make sure that you're being safe with this fungus. It's a great fungus for the novice forager, but there's just one point of clarity that I didn't include as clearly as I could have within the original filming of the video. So I've tacked that on at the end. Please make sure that you stay and watch that. Right, I'm going to hand you over to Carl from the past. Hi guys, I'm out foraging in the woods. It is early October, so it's definitely autumn, and I'm out in this amazing oak and beech, and there's quite a lot growing in this wood actually, but where I am right now, as you can see, we've got spruce and firs and things down in the distance, but here we've got a beautiful, massive old beech tree. And beech is fast becoming my favorite tree to forage around. It used to be oak, but I think it's becoming beech, especially this time of year. There's just so much around now. As you will know, a lot of mushrooms, they will form symbiotic relationships with certain plants, or they will decay certain plants. They will certainly focus on certain trees or grasses, and mushrooms definitely have a propensity, if you live in the UK, two of the best plants to look for, if you're going to look for mushrooms, are beech and oak trees. And that's illustrated by the abundance of mushrooms around me here on the floor. There's all sorts going on. We've got some rasulas, we've got down here on the decaying this bit of branch for us, we've got some brackets, but neither of those brackets are what I want to talk to you about, because what I want to talk to you about is growing just over here on that piece of fallen beech. So that's not to say that you're exclusively looking at fallen bits of beech. I mean, I'm talking in the leaf litter around them as well. Just the other side of that debris there are some rasulas, but down here is a mushroom that I haven't spoken to you about before, and very, very conveniently they're growing on this piece of wood that I can move, which makes it really easy for me to show you all of those amazing features. So this is a mushroom called the porcelain fungus, and it's another fungus, as all the fungus that I talk about really on my video from memory. This is another fungus that is both edible and great for the novice forager to learn. So if you look underneath, you'll just see how beautiful and white it is. It is a stunning mushroom. And one of the key features there, you can see a little ring. It's quite delicate. But there really is nothing dangerous that looks like this mushroom if you just take into account a few of the circumstantial things about it and the way it presents itself. So let's look at them. The first thing that you'll probably note is it's got a gelatinous layer on the top, which is, comes away on your fingers. It's a little bit sticky. So, wow, somewhere between sticky and slimy, like a slug's trail. And so it's got that layer on the top. It's also got, as I mentioned before, a little ring on the stem just there. In fact, let me pick this guy. There you go. That's a better view. So you can see the ring on the stem. It's got beautiful, it's quite slippery, the top, so it's difficult for me to hold it, but it's got beautiful white gills. They are, I think from the underside, this mushroom is just delightful. And, you can tell how it got its name, the porcelain fungus, because it looks like a piece of porcelain. And these guys are not only edible, but they're really, really tasty. They are a great mushroom for the pot. Now, what I would suggest if you're going to be harvesting these is that you discard the stems, because the stems are quite tough. And if you're going to be serving them as like a breakfast mushroom, if you're just going to be serving them on toast with eggs or something, then you might want to just rinse the glutinous layer off the top, because it's not that nice to eat. But if you're throwing them in a soup or in a casserole or something with a sauce, then you don't need to worry about that at all. That will just go in and help to thicken your sauce and make it nice. You know, you don't need to worry about that. But like I say, if you're serving it as a breakfast mushroom, then you might want to rinse it off. There you go, that's the porcelain fungus. So it will, I can't think of any cases of it growing on anything other than beech. So it is almost exclusively on beech trees or on dead and dying beech, like this piece down here, and it's going to decay that timber for us. And as I've mentioned before, you know, mushrooms are the reason we're not knee-deep in detritus every time we come to the woods. They are nature's recyclers. They're going to do that job. So I'm actually not going to harvest any of these because there's only a few there. They're not a massive mushroom. This is a fairly typical size, but they do quite often grow in much bigger profusions than this. So you'll definitely usually find enough that makes it worthwhile harvesting. But by the time I've discarded the stems, these 3 or 4 little caps here aren't really going to make it worth my while. So I'm going to leave them alone to carry on doing their thing. And as you can see, there's lots and lots of dead beech all around me. So hopefully the spores will impregnate those and we'll be able to come back next year and find more and more. The only other thing of note is if you look down here at this one, you'll see even when they come out, let me see if I can show you, even when they come out lower down on the trunk or the bough or whatever it is, they will turn up so that their caps are always the right way up. And that's another feature of this mushroom. There you go, that's the porcelain fungus. Can't be confused with anything so long as you follow those tips. White mushroom, white gills, glutinous lid, little tiny ring, growing on dead beech. About this size, can't be anything else. A fantastic mushroom for the pot. Get out there and go foraging. There is so much around at the moment. It's a great time of year to be foraging. We've had plenty of rain and I'm just finding loads and loads of different species. So there you go, that is the porcelain fungus. Thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure you like this video, leave me a comment down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Cheers. So as promised, there was just one thing that I didn't really state clearly enough, and that is that, you know, it is a mushroom with a stem. It's not just a mushroom growing out the side of the plant that doesn't have a stem, like an oyster style mushroom, because there are some very small oyster style mushrooms called oysterlings, which are dangerous and you definitely don't want to eat. They can look very similar, in fact, but you know, I kind of covered it by saying that it has to have a ring, and that would suggest if you have to have a ring, you have to have a stem. But I just wanted to add that for some extra clarity. So do make sure that you've got that stem and it's a full cap on a stem, not just sort of like the cap growing straight out of the plant. Just wanted to add that for extra clarity. There you go. Cheers, guys.